All right, bro.
What's up?
Welcome back. Bless the Rest podcast.
Welcome.
Pretty wild.
Yep.
Yep.
We're doing it.
Different scenery this time. Kitchen. You know,
It's quiet.
we were like, oh, let's do like a cool friend's garage, and then
We'll do that.
yeah, we will eventually, but then it's like there's too much going on. Just got to make dinner, and then it's probably we just put the kids down.
Yeah.
Not
I just had a
like you
fire.
put the kids on at your house, put down at your house,
Just had a bonfire.
and you're like, all right, I'm gonna head over.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, dude, I'm excited just to like chat a little bit today, and I think some of the things, our wives brought up might be cool for us to talk about. It's kind of, in case people don't know, fully is what we do for a living. Me, the people we know probably know a little bit what I do. You, I still don't fully know what
Dude,
you do.
I was just gonna say I'm not sure I know fully what I do.
Yeah. I tell people he does something with like maps and GIS, which sounds, it's like funny. It sounds like medical at first, like a problem, like GI.
Yeah, it does.
So, but yeah, why don't you share like what you do?
Yeah, I can just I'll try and do it. I've only been in this current role for like 6 months, so I'm actually still in the process of nailing down how to explain what it is that I do. But I started out in environmental science, studied that in college, and then got a job in environmental science, and then pivoted a little bit into GIS, which just stands for Geographic Information Systems, and it basically is just mapping. So if you can think of like applications and managing information, like Google Maps, something like that, but doing it for an organization. The government, a lot of GIS in the government. And so now I'm actually I've moved more into the computer science / information, technology, IT space. So supporting GIS and geospatial. So it's really like I'm basically in information science or information technology and information systems. And it is a senior level position, and so I'm working with a lot of people that have like 3 decades of experience, and so it's really intimidating, but I really like it. I really like it's I work for a private company, but it's a government contract, so I work with a lot of federal agency employees, and it's full time with them. It's remote, and so I'm working out of the closet at home, the closet office, and it's been awesome. Really liking it. But yeah, in a nutshell.
Yeah, kind of got it.
Yeah,
it's still pretty tough.
It's still pretty vague.
But you're giving data to like the government for like mapping.
I'm like supporting I'm supporting a system to where the government can continue to do their work within that system. So like if you imagine like a server, and you imagine like an application, and you imagine like maybe a certain amount of users on that application. So like helping make sure all that stuff's working on a team. Like I don't do it by myself by any means. I work on an awesome team. And so we share that like workload together, and you get tickets. Just a classic ticket comes in and somebody picks it up, and you try and help that person and fix that problem.
Got it. Support.
Yes, it's support.
Okay.
It's a support role. Exactly.
Yeah, with data and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, yeah, and then for people that don't know me, my wife and I own a coffee shop in downtown Pensacola called Makers, and we're just over 2 years old in the brick and mortar. Started as a cart and then moved into the brick and mortar. We have a staff, which is crazy, about 13, 14 people in total.
Dude, it's getting big.
It's a lot. I know, it's crazy. And then still doing a little bit of the day job, photo, video work, got to shoot tomorrow. But it's like, I try to just do like work with certain clients, but it was cool because like all those gigs, like working with people, networking, doing photo and video and stuff, it really helped me get into the coffee shop. You know what I mean? Like it was like, and we can get into that another time, but there's so many like gateway stories, I guess, of like how the connections I made doing video led me to being able to open the coffee shop, which is just crazy.
Dude, I was at Publix, and the girl that was like at the register, I was wearing a Makers sweater. And she's like, I love Makers. I was like, no way. Like my best friends, they own it. Like they're the owners. And I literally in that moment, I remember I was like, dude, that was like their dream. And I told her that. I was like, that's actually, him and his wife had a dream of opening up a coffee shop, and they did it. And she was like, no way, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's wild.
So that was y'all's dream, bro.
Yeah. Well, dude, Ethan, you got a couple questions?
Just simple questions for us to kind of just, talk through. First question, what do you love most about your job?
I tell people it's like the best part and the hardest part is like figuring out the best way to manage the team, and like I don't really make coffee that much. It's like I manage people mostly, and make sure they have everything they need. Kind of like you, like support. It's like, it's different, but it's like a ticket almost like comes in and it's like, hey, I need help with this. And, and then I feel like my job a lot of the time is figuring out how I can like help the person working do the best they can and have the best experience they can. That's a lot of what I do. But a very rewarding part of what I get to do is like, I think like, Haley and I had this dream to like open the coffee shop, but deep down our passion or just like personal desires is to like help people get to the next step, And I think me being more of like a connector type lends itself that way. Cause I'm always like, oh, do you know so-and-so? And like, I'd love to get you connected with this guy if you're like, or I have people like looking to hire someone, you know what I mean? And hopefully I love like being able to like refer people, you know what I mean? Or at least point people in the right direction.
You like connecting people for a reason. It's not like a pointless type of connection. It is always like, hey, this connection is going to help you.
100%. Yeah, and that's the goal. At least like, because I don't know, I feel like for me, like I wanted like direction a lot, like coming up, but I just didn't know, like nobody ever pointed me in that direction or like in a direction.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like there along for the ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
throw
so
it at the wall, see what happens type of thing.
Yeah, and I think people are just like, I mean, I get it too, because it's like, I think some people, like I try to make sure I keep myself in check of like, how do I make sure I keep this like fresh and fun? Because if it was just like boring or or I just didn't want to deal with it, like I could see how you would get to a place where you're like, I just need people to show up, mail it in,
Yeah.
Like some people say, it's like, you're just going to mail it in. It's like, no, I'm going to show up and like actually do it. You know what I mean? And be involved. And I don't know. Yeah, that's, I mean, and we're still like learning and growing and figuring out like what we're really going to be doing, I think, as a shop. But definitely like the people's like the best part. Yeah. Working with them. So how about you? What do you think is the best part of what you do?
That's cool. I think what I love most about it is the support. I really love, and like, this about me. I love like assisting, helping, empowering, like, hey, how can I get you to, to succeed? Like what is it that you need? I have the tools and I'll give them to you type of thing. And that's pretty much my job all the time. It's also like a big, what I love about it is it's very collaborative. I love being in a sort of like, hey, I don't want to do this on my own. Like I need help, or like I need to lock arms with somebody and let's tackle this together. It's very collaborative. And to me, that's just more fun. And I don't know, it's got a creative element. So I really do love the work. I love working with all the people that I work with. It's just, I'd probably say that's what it is. The people, supporting people so that they can, get their work done.
Love it. What was the other question you had?
Okay, next question is, what's the most challenging thing about your job or role?
Why don't you do that one first?
Okay,
I went first, the other one.
Okay, so I think the most challenging thing, and we've kind of talked about this before, and I'm still really fleshing it out. So I am young, like relative to a lot of the people that I work with. And I'm a little brother, I'm like the youngest of three. Yeah. And so I know how to navigate that
youngest
space.
of three brothers.
Well, yeah. Well, yes, exactly. And I know how to navigate that, but it's definitely, it's a different dynamic in the workplace. And so just being humble, so like making sure that I'm like, keeping myself in check, but also being confident. I think trying to balance those two things is the most challenging thing right now at the 6-month mark. And it's getting better like week by week. And I'm starting to, kind of find my place and just to gain good, trust and relationship, which I think is key in anywhere you work. So people know like why you did that. Like if you were maybe like a little direct or a little abrupt, they know where you're coming from. It's not like because you have something bad against somebody, it's because you want the work to happen. And so or they know more about your personality, so they know why you came across that way. So anyways, it's just navigating that and being, relatively young.
Yeah. No, and it makes me think, because I feel like a lot of people probably resonate with, maybe not feeling as like they can do what they feel like they can do. You know what I mean? And a lot of that kind of boils it down to like, it's not that you have bad leadership. I think some of it just takes time. You know what I mean? Because honestly, too, it's like, I think from my perspective, sometimes it just takes time as a leader to be like, like I do think like this person's in it. You know what I mean? Not that they don't want to invest in you. Your job's a little different too, because it's like very like career oriented. It's like usually they bring someone on, they're like hoping you stay 30 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with me, it's like it's probably going to be pretty quick, like a couple years, hopefully, and I was just talking to somebody today. It's like, I hope you're here for the long haul, but it's like, I know in order for to do like, and I said it's good because it puts pressure on me in a sense. Like I see a lot of potential in certain people here. And it's like, I know they won't stay if I don't raise the lid. It's like John Maxwell's law of the lid. Like your team can only rise as like high as the lid, and I am in control of the lid,
Yeah.
So I have to always be thinking like, how can I get that higher so that my team can go higher? Even for myself, I can only go as high as the lid I put on myself too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I'm excited too, mainly, or a big part of the podcast I'm excited about is because our personalities are so different, but in a good way, because like, I'm obviously not like going the career path, like the long haul, like you are. Like it's a lot more security and things like that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot
different.
of things. Yeah. But, and I crave that a lot of the time too. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I start to doubt. It's like, did I make the right call? You know what I mean? And then I think people on your side can maybe be like, should I do something? You know what I mean?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like-
we could have a whole podcast on what I was trying to do before this job.
Well, we can, we should, but I mean,
but it speaks to that.
yeah. And
like
I
wanting
think,
to do entrepreneurial type things.
so maybe like with this, and then I'll do my part of the question, but like, cause I do want this to be like beneficial for people that are listening too, is like, what would you say is like your biggest encouragement that maybe you've learned going through the hardest part? Like what's something you learned going through like do this time maybe, and you've already been in the field. It's not like this is your first job. You transitioned when you moved from Alabama. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was a good job. Now it's a better job, but it's also like, it's still like you're in the baby phase, like essentially of like starting a career because you're still young, early 30s, right? 32.
Yeah, 32. It's not, well, it's weird because so the position I'm in now, most people aren't in it and they're at age 30. And that's what's kind of like, this is
They're in it later?
yes.
Okay.
You get the job I have, you just get it at least, 5-10 years later than I'm in it now, or with an X amount of experience. Like, they're looking for like 10 years of experience.
Well, maybe speak more so in the sense of like doing a career, because there's a lot of, even like, because isn't your first voice nurture?
It's like it's a toss up. It's creative. There's nurture is definitely high, very
but
high.
Your personality, like, people in your situation, there's a lot of people that work for other people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I think more so maybe speak in like just in that, not necessarily like your job specifically.
Yeah.
But what's something you've had to, maybe what's something you're really working on is like learning, like, but like, okay, like, I mean, or maybe you don't know, maybe you don't feel like great about it, and that's okay too. You can say that, but because it's like, yeah, you were gonna do like coaching,
Yeah.
full time, like that was a possibility.
Honestly, I think and this could change, but where I'm at now, reflecting back on, rewind more maybe like 7-8 months ago. So that feeling of like, I've never done something like entrepreneurial or started a business, and I went hard in that, like full pedal to the metal,
Yeah.
like full gas for like 3-4 months, and learned a ton about myself. Learned that, some of my personality types, like some pieces of my personality type, don't really cater towards being entrepreneurial. Like a risk taker. I think that's probably a key characteristic of an entrepreneurial person. I'm not a risk taker per se, and not very. I don't have like a. I really like structure, man. I really like that 9 to 5, type deal, and that just wasn't. And I was trying to do this, like start a business while I had a full-time job and had 3 little kids. So part of that is like. I think practically it's just a difficult time to do it, but it's very possible. But I learned that I really like to have a few things in life that I'm like really focused on, and I'm in that spot now, and have so much peace. Like I feel a lot less, rushed and busy, because I think it isn't. I'm not rushing and being busy like in my own skin. You know what I mean? I kind of know how far I can go or what's too much, where I'm just like a toxic leak, around the people or around people around me. And so yeah, just like focusing on my family, my wife, focusing on my job, and whatever can kind of come after that. But and obviously my relationship with the Lord. So like if I'm kind of doing a lot of things, it just doesn't cater to my personality type.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where I'm at. Like having a structured 9 to 5 has been really good the past 6 months for me.
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Like we need the opposite of that. We need people who are like disrupting and starting stuff. And so, but I just don't think it's me. It could be me later in life, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
and maybe to certain degrees. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it maybe could be like something that falls more into place. And once you get more established,
Yeah, and once maybe the kids are in college.
That's a while, bro.
I know, bro. I know.
Yeah.
But that could be the case. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I think, for me, like the hardest part's probably been like of doing makers and stuff. I mean, it's finding stability, but not just financially, but in my schedule. So that's been like really big, and I feel like you're really good at like, I mean, and it's a benefit of like working, a corporate job. You're done. You know what I mean? And like, and you're not, I'm sure there's probably going to be moments, and there are in some people's career where it's like, oh, we got to like your brother's an accountant. He's like, goes hard during certain times of the year.
It's seasonal.
But then he gets like chill time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's like, because me and Haley talk about, that's probably the biggest conflict we've had as a couple since starting the shop is my schedule, but it's also boiled down to me like not being as diligent as I should be, because it's like I'd go into work, or what was happening is I was kind of like half in, half out all the time. You know what I mean? And Haley even told me, she's like, I'd rather you just like not be here and like go to work and then come home and just be here. And I was like,
yeah,
I know. It's like, shoot. Because it's like I try to help out in the mornings, and then I go to work, and then it's like hard to get like going because I get there at like 9:30 after taking Iowa to school or something, which I love doing, but it does like make it hard for what I do, just like certain, because then I get there, and then we have a rush, I help out, and then it's like I don't know. It wasn't, and I'm like having to figure out like what do I need to do, and I was just like, I'm good at staying busy, but not being productive. So, and me and you were talking about this, like I really want to get that's a goal for 2025 is like get my calendar to where like I'm living by it, and where it's like if my calendar doesn't reflect my goals, I don't need to do it.
Yeah.
That kind of deal.
Yeah.
Unless it's personal, which we'll have hopefully in the calendar. You know what I mean? Like I just want to. I don't want to be like so rigid where it's like it's like all my personal life's necessarily in the calendar.
Yeah.
Like I want that to be like I like the flexibility.
Yeah.
I like to be able to stop, have a conversation. But when it comes to work time, I want to have like block time where it's like I focus on this, and it's a goal. Like it's focused on a goal I have for the year or something.
Yeah. Dude, that reminds me of, and you know this, is the giant framework of being accidental versus intentional. And so if you're accidental with your schedule, like, you know, you're gonna maybe accidentally stumble into something good or just not.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're intentional, very highly likely that you will do what you want and you set out to achieve.
Yeah. It was like, and I was talking with a staff member today. I was like, man, you know, because it was one of those things like I want to make sure I'm doing the best I can when I come to work. Because part of it is like I want what I'm doing to like, you know, what's the word?
Bless the rest.
Yeah, to bless the rest, but to like rub off on other people. You know what I mean? Like I want the energy and the attitude I bring to work to dictate how they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a sense.
Be the thermometer. What's the
thermostat.
Yeah, the opposite of what I said.
Yeah,
the thermostat.
You're giving people the wrong info.
Yeah.
Be the thermostat. Yeah, you have a chance to either be the thermostat or the thermometer. You know, and you want to be the thermostat.
Yeah, to regulate the temperature, set the temperature. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's a big goal because that's been, like I was saying, that's the hardest part is just like getting my schedule, because I need to like protect the time I have with my family, and it's just like, you know, you probably get it too. It's like if you're like your mind isn't like fully in with the kids. Like I think it was easy. I think we're learning what it's like to be like how locked in you have to be with your kids, because you could be halfway in and just like hang out with your wife and like you get by because it's like they're self-sufficient, you know, like your spouse. It's like, so now, and then they could kind of like transition with you into like hanging out. And then it's like, because when I get home, it's like I got to be locked in because the kids are like want all your attention right away.
Yes.
And they're loud and screaming and something's wrong. You know what I mean? Like that's when it would like get stressful and I'd be really like short fused, and you know, I would just get frustrated, and then I get frustrated with myself because it's like I shouldn't be like this, you know, and it's like this never ending cycle. So one way to try to combat that this year is to, you know, get my calendar locked in, and that's a big thing I got to do.
Protect the time.
Yeah, so that's been the biggest challenge, but we'll figure it out. Dude,
good stuff.
Yeah.
Next year, I always get like really ambitious and like excited around this time of year, and then it's like it's almost like a double-edged sword because like I'm also like resolutions, like those are cheesy and like you know, they don't last, you know, but I definitely catch the bug like right now every year.
Yeah, I think it's because people start talking about it.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And
everybody's talking about it.
And it's like, I think like going into Christmas is like, and you're just so like, you're expending yourself so much. Now you're like, I got to change something. Because I think you just realize whenever you're running at full throttle, like you realize the flaws.
Yeah.
So you're like, what can I work on to, I mean, hopefully you're asking yourself that, like, how can I make this situation better? I think a lot of people like want to get better. They just don't like ask themselves really like how, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So how do we get it to where we're asking ourselves, like, how do we do that? Make a plan, you know? I don't know. Like there's certain people I know that are really good at it, you know, like goal oriented and write it down, like read it every day. You know what I mean? I'm like, they're so disciplined.
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
That's just
awesome.
it's a different personality type. It really is, I think.
Crushing it though.
Yeah. Just planners, you know, type A, which is like, we need type A people. I'm not. I'm more like you in that. I'm like very spontaneous. Like if like say I had to write something, like write a blog, and somebody asked me, I'd be like, I would like write it whenever I had the inspiration, you know? And I think that's fine, but it's not very productive. Like at work, like with the work stuff, I'm very productive. Like it's weird how I sometimes separate that. We're kind of rambling here, but it's weird how I separate like my work productivity with like my house and like outside of work productivity. I don't treat them the same, which is probably not there's
you're
probably
always
some badness in
You're
there,
always
you know?
conserving.
Yes, I'm always like, conserving my energy levels. But I have a checklist and I just crush it, you know, my work checklist, but I don't crush my personal checklist.
Yeah.
You know?
That, I mean, and that'd be something really to try to figure out, because like it's like asking people like, how do you, because I think like I could bring things I use at work home, but that's not always received the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, work and home they're not the same, bro.
Yeah, it's like, well, we need a system. You know what I mean? It's like, well,
Yeah,
the system's changing, or the system literally just pooped on me. You know what I mean?
The ages are different, bro.
I know.
You know,
it's ever changing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be something.
I think for my new year, it's definitely be more confident. And I've been thinking about it already the past couple weeks, and I don't have tangible steps. I think that's probably my next step is like, well, what does that mean? Like just be more confident. That's not helpful to say out loud.
Yeah. How are you gonna execute it?
Yeah. What are the practical ways to be more confident? You know?
Maybe like write down like, what do you need to be more confident in?
Yeah. Make it specific.
Like that way, you know, like I need to work on it in this area instead of just like in general.
Yeah.
Because you are confident in certain things.
It's certain things. Yeah. And it does take time. I'm definitely like a slow burn type person. And so, you know, if I've been doing something and I've been living it and practicing it, it's like in my body. It's like people say, I'm much more excited and confident to express it, you know, but that's probably my personality type, you know?
Yeah.
You know how like people are more introspective, they hold their idea in.
Yeah.
I'm like that with a lot of things, but once I start doing it, I'm like, I don't care. I'll talk about it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about this at work the other day. Just like, you know, people get like a word. They're like, what's your word for the year? You know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this year, like my big thing with the shop has been like refinement. That's just like what kind of came to me. And it's like, how do we refine like what we do, how we do it, get the best, like know how much we're spending. Cause now it's like, it took time to figure out like what all we're doing, you know, for me. It's just not my strength to be like, this is what we're spending and like everything costs, you know,
The resources.
Yeah, I don't like it. But I had some people like really help me with that, like on the team, which was good. And I told them, I was like, hey, I want this to be like, we're refining things so we can do it better. You know what I mean? Have it make it to where the business is doing better, like it's more healthy and stuff. But I mean, I don't really have another word for the next year. I'm just feel like I need to carry it over because it's like, and that's fine. I feel fine with it. And it might change partway through the year, hopefully. Like I didn't start refinement January 1, 2024.
Yeah.
It was like, it came to me and I was like, I need to focus on like refining, you know? And I think I'm still doing it. And it's like, now it's like, it's figuring out how, I feel like we're working on the business. There's still more to do, but now it's like carrying into like, how do I make sure like I'm doing that personally and like really just fine tuning like my schedule, my workflow, trying to be in like genius thinking is like some people call it. It's like, how can I operate in the best, like make the most use of my time that's more beneficial for the business, you know? And then that way I can be more effective when I'm at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not just for the business. It's also just for personal, you know?
You're refining your life, dude.
Yeah. It's funny because like now I'm an entrepreneur, but I feel more tied than if I was doing like a 9 to 5. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Because it's like, and people even come in and are like, man, like they're like, they know it, like we're talking about my schedule or something, or they'll be like, when like I'm leaving, and they're like, oh yeah, never ends though, right? I was like, you know, I'm like, yeah, always thinking about it, you know, like it's hard to shut off, you know.
Yeah.
And there's some career people that are like that too, you know, that are in like staff or on a team.
Yes,
like that happens. But it's definitely whenever you're the boss, you know, it's like you talk to a lot of people with startups and stuff. It's just like consumes them. But then you hear about people that are like been doing it a while or more successful. They don't just focus on that. You know what I mean? They're not as emotionally tied to it anymore.
That sounds key.
Yeah.
That sounds key.
So it's like you care about it, but you also have to realize it is a business and it's not who you are.
Yeah.
So that's where I feel like that refinement's starting to hit me, not just the business, you know, which is, and it feels good. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
So
that's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, anyway, as we wrap up today, you know, I hope people got some goodness out of this, you know, hopefully.
Do you feel blessed?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it's like we said, we've kind of said in the last one, it's like we want this to be like info for people to be able to take and be like, you know, because I love whenever you're like talking with somebody through something, you can be like, man, I heard this today, you know.
And share it with somebody else.
Yeah. I heard this, like I did hear this about this guy. He talks about like he reads for 10 minutes every single day, at least, just so he can have like, it usually gives him something to talk about in a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I was reading this today.
Yes. Okay.
And then
yeah.
it feels so much better when it's like third person. You can be like, I read like so-and-so said this about his life. You know?
I didn't say this. I'm not telling you about this.
Yeah. It's just like, it's not as like, oh, like he's giving his 2 cents again. You know what I mean?
Dude, that is so funny how, we could just ramble on and talk about all that stuff, but it's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Dude, that is another thing for the next year. This happened last year. It happens this is the third year it's happened. And when the new year rolls around, I'm always like, all right, I'm about to pull back. Like I usually like stop something. And I'm getting back into reading again, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's happening. I'm reading a lot more fiction and nonfiction.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter. Read it in the shop today. But yeah, and also read more fiction. Just ordered a book, and I read fiction in the morning. So I'm excited about that. No, I read nonfiction in the morning. Sorry. Nonfiction in the morning, fiction at night. That's my thing.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about that, man. So
sweet.
So I'll have some 10-minute, or this is what I read today, or this person said this kind of stuff today to share.
Mm-hmm. Love it. All right, man. Well, we'll catch up on the next one.
Yep.
Bless the rest.
Hey, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. Hey, feel free to bless the rest and share this with somebody else. And check out more of our episodes.